Uh-huh. Got to adjust here. And we're set to go. There's Neo in the background. By the way, Neo is doing fantastic. Been giving him Rick Simpson oil now for the past 2 months. It appears as if he's made a remarkable recovery. In about a week, we bring him to the vet again to do another ultrasound to see if there's been any improvement in the reduction of the tumors that he had throughout his body. But just based on the fact that he's gained all this weight, has perfect poops, has a great appetite, seems to be all okay, I'm very hopeful. And of course, I took my little CBD tincture here just a little while ago to put me in the right mood. All right. Why are we here today? Why are we here this morning? As you may or may not know, I will be doing another Twitch episode today at 1 p.m. Link is down below, I believe. But I had to come on this channel and express my feeling about Bitcoin and crypto. I noticed that before I had logged on, there was 1 thumbs down and no thumbs up. Come on, folks. Let's click that thumbs up button and show these trolls and these crypto wannabes that they're living in a dream world. I'm here to tell you right now that this world, or this market, the crypto market for the next few months, is going to be tumultuous for those who are the faithful in crypto. That is not for us that have a skeptical and logical and rationed view of this market. Now, that's not to say that there are not smart people involved in this market. I think that there are a lot of very clever, very smart people that have done some very good work, but they're all living a dream. They're all living this sort of anarchist, libertarian-like dream of a decentralized universe. And it's just simply not there. I have, come to the conclusion. I came to this conclusion quite some time ago, and it was undoubtedly the reason why my original channel was deleted, where my identity was stolen, because I was getting too popular in spreading this message. I had developed a philosophical view, a business model view, a financial view, a cultural view, more or less an argument why crypto, blockchain simply we weren't ready for it, or perhaps we'll never be ready for it. And so far, it has proven to be nothing more than a Ponzi scheme, the greater fool theory, where you need more and more greater fools to believe that it will be worth something in the future for it to survive. Now, there's a lot of people out there, when you start flashing in front of them Lambos and hoes and $100,000 Bitcoin, put your dollar in there and it will be worth $100,000 someday. There's a lot of foolish people out there that believe that crap. And there'll always be those people, and there's tons of them, and they're going to do whatever they can to keep on pulling them in, but the numbers are showing otherwise. The numbers, when you go to Google Trends, are showing that interest in Bitcoin and crypto is declining rapidly. Governments are starting to really get the full flavor of what it's about, that it is nothing more than a scam. And I hate to say it, that even though there are a lot of intelligent people involved in this industry, a lot of great development work and marketing work and so forth, they are naive. They're being dragged down into this space, this vacuum, this void. A carapace from which they'll never emerge victorious. They'll keep on believing it. And I just had this argument with somebody on my Discord. He kept on saying, oh, well, that's what they said back in 2015 and 2016 and blah, blah, blah. Everyone, he just kept on referring to the past as if the past is going to repeat itself. That we're all underestimating the power of blockchain. Blockchain is, in fact, a solution looking for a problem. Sure, there's unlimited number of use cases for blockchain that could actually work, but does it actually solve the problem? Does it make things better? So far, the answer is no. People say, well, give it time. It needs to evolve. Well, we've had 9-10 years now. There have been no killer apps that have come out of this. I guess some people could argue that Bitcoin was the killer app out of blockchain. But even it is having a hard time living on its own. It is only sustained by the whales and their money and their desire for that power, that unlimited power that is just before them. If they could only attract a few more people, a few more million people, and they will reach financial nirvana. That's what they want. That 3% that's holding 96% of all the wealth in Bitcoin. Of course they're motivated. They're motivated to lift themselves and stand on your shoulders, your head, or whatever else happens to get in the way, so they can live the dream, live the Lambo, have a hoe in every Lambo. That's what they want. A hoe in every Lambo. That is the dream. And a villa full of hoes. I speak like this sort of sexist way, because there are very, very few women involved in this. They don't have any such ambition, obviously. It is 90% or better millennial men, hornpouts. They want to express their lack of with their Lambos. They can't get real women, so they'll settle for hoes or gold diggers. So, as I said, I made a philosophical case, a business model case, a financial case, a cultural case for all of this before my channel was deleted. I started to revive some of those arguments, but I'm really getting tired of it, really tired. I'm here to tell you that Bitcoin now it's about to drop. Do I know this for a fact? No. Do I know this through my own interpretation, experience, the signals? I can see a cracking. I think we may make, I think actually this last pump was the last hurrah. Every pump is getting weaker and weaker. Every time they pump, the whales, they lose a little bit more of their strength. There's only so far they can go. And I've said this in the past, that in order for Bitcoin to have any chance of succeeding, it must drop sharply. It must crash. It must shed itself of all the filth that's around it. And maybe even Bitcoin itself may have to go away for something else to take its place. A different vision. This decentralized vision is not decentralized at all. As a matter of fact, it's a massive centralization of power and greed and rules. It's promising things that are unattainable, things that are against the human spirit, things that are against humanity. The idea that you can trust anyone without trusting anybody. Just think about that. Is that the world we want to live in? Absolutely not. Crypto is a tool. Blockchain, distributed ledgers, the idea of decentralized networks are all just tools. They are not a means to an end or a means to a beginning. They are nothing. And it is, in fact, a scam for the most part. Most of the projects out there are scams. Every time I have this argument with somebody, they want to point me to another new project that has come on board to show me that here's the answer. And of course, these projects, they come and they go. None of them have the sticking power. None of them are worth crap. They are nothing more, you know, and I had a fellow a while ago that kept on me for a while, wanted to start this medical coin. He had a website ready to go and he was going to blockchain it. A way to store medical records and perhaps even do a kind of insurance triage. Put all medical records on the blockchain. We'll make millions. He says, look at everybody bringing in this ICO money. That's all he really cared about. He says, we need to put our foot in that fire. Can't just let it go by and not take a stab at it. Come on, Ernie, you got the technical expertise, you got the connections. Let's do it. I said, David, I don't think so. I don't think you know what you're getting into. I don't think you really understand that what you're offering here isn't a real solution. It isn't making things better. It is simply you trying to take advantage of a situation so that you can go through an ICO and stuff your pockets with millions and Lambos and hoes. That's all it is for most people. Some people have these idealized dreams. They live in, again, in this sort of anarchist world. They think that don't need anybody else, can kind of do it all on their own. Most people don't take a philosophical view of this stuff either. They don't look at what are the real implications on a personal level, on a trust level. Where are we going with this? What problems are we really solving with blockchain and decentralized? First of all, blockchain doesn't work unless you have a massive decentralized network. And you need people continually building and expanding that network. Without that, it is nothing. The private chains are really just a complex way of creating an immutable database. Linked lists with cryptographic keys are not new. I've been using them for decades, literally decades, in various data structures for various purposes. I mean, it's not as much of an innovation as people talk about. And that is the crux. That is the thing. Of course, there are different types. I mean, blockchain isn't particularly good at all different types of use cases. And there are DAGs as well, and other types of distributed ledgers that are. I used to work with a product or a technology that was based on tuple spaces, which was very similar, decentralized. And actually, the impetus for thing called Java spaces. Very, very similar technology. And actually, that I believe that has far more relevance and usefulness than crypto or blockchain or DAGs will ever have, because it has a governance model by definition that is also decentralized. And that's the big thing that most people are missing, is that governance model. Besides, it's all just too complex to actually work. That's the real big thing. It's just so complex. Trying to create a user interface for this stuff is hard. Trying to find a business model that fits within this is almost impossible. Trying to find all the technical support and people and cultural upshift that you need to create in order to sustain a decentralized business model it's hard. It's difficult. There's no return. I mean, it all sounds so good when you think about it, but when you try to put it into actual practice, there's no real benefit. It's so much easier to do it other ways. That's what it is all about. All right, let's go to the chat. Oh, I also want to say that if you haven't been involved in my artificial intelligence setups, the embodiment, you don't know what you're missing. We are banking it. What I would suggest is that you go on to my Discord. There is a link below. Join the Discord and just check out what we're doing there. The members that are a part of this, we had 3 winners today. Every winner virtually pays for an entire year's subscription. Enough said. Now on to the comments. This is my favorite part of this show. I know it's your favorite too. Cassio and Bo and Gideon, how you doing? Joachim and Richard, hi, all of you. Thank you very much. And Casanova, are you missing a V in there? No news. Why so negative today? Realist today, Bo. I'm being an absolute realist. You know, I came to all these conclusions last year. I did some very deep thinking about all of, this entire technology, this whole space, and what it really meant. And it became very apparent to me where we were going. And I tried to warn people. It became, like it was totally gaslit for me when people started to talk about how futures were going to bring them into this new generation of Bitcoin, how it was going to open up the whole market and institutional money was going to flow in. And once that subsided, then it was ETFs. But ETFs are kind of like an afterthought. That's after the bubble burst from the futures debacle. So I am not negative at all. As a matter of fact, I'm just, there are other things that are going on in the world today that have so much more relevance to our future and the future of humanity than Bitcoin or crypto. I mean, come on. Cannabis, marijuana, hemp, industrial hemp has unbelievable implications to our future. And we just need to get a few stalwarts, so a few blockages out of government and to clear the way and make this available to everybody so that the world can benefit from this amazing plant. Tomorrow, Canada becomes recreational legal. The entire country, although it's a very veiled and empty legalization. You can only have up to 5 grams for personal use. If you're caught with more than that, you could receive up to $1,000 fine. Can you imagine that? That's legal? Come on, Canada. Follow our model of decentralization, where the states are the petri dish of our government, where 32 states now have found a way to make marijuana legal in one manner or another. I know that Donald Trump has also made a pledge, and we'll see if he keeps this, that he will make medical marijuana legal countrywide. The DEA has started to show cracks in their stronghold as a level 1 substance, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Research is starting to bubble up because of this loosening of the grip from the drug wars, the war on drugs. That is something worth pursuing, not crypto. Crypto, and there's much more money to be made in the cannabis end. Way more. Crypto is empty. It is just an empty thing. It's nothing. It's magic money. Come on. But anyways, I'm also here, like I said, to tell you that I see crypto moving down very sharply in the very near future. So if you're in it, take that as a heed, a warning. The crypto Ponzi is making me richer every day. What's your problem? Go and trade instead of calling the end of the world and wasting people's time. Well, Gideon, I am, crypto Ponzi is king. I'm not calling the end of the world. As a matter of fact, I'm calling the beginning of the world. I think that our eyes are opening. We're becoming awakened to what, the things that are really important, and that is human interaction. Crypto is a way to stifle human interaction. It is anathema to being human. That's the scary part about this, and most people don't see that. They're blinded by the potential wealth that they'll garner, and what they don't realize is there's nothing there for them. It's already all the slots have already been filled for the people who are going to make their wealth, and they will soon dry up and wither away. So Casio, yeah, is true. The biggest shills are those that hold the biggest bags. The increase in their wealth is at the expense of others. Absolutely. This is Atlas Shrugged for sure. Hence the perception of manipulation each day. It's sickening. I agree. At best, a zero-sum game, but in reality, a negative-sum game. Not only in material game, but also mentally and spiritually when you think about it. Exactly. All you got to do is just sit back, use your mind, be a skeptic, use rationality, logic, reason, think from a philosophical point of view, really think this out. So Casio goes on to say a deflationary, sorry. It just skipped up all of a sudden. A deflationary supply makes the rich richer over time at an exponential rate. It's even worse than inflationary fiat system. In a sure way to physical slavery once again. Think about it. Yeah, I came to the conclusion that crypto is the ultimate capture, the ultimate spider's web for socialism and even a communistic government. It is. Casanova. This is the problem with today's generation. They think it's all a real-time video game. Blockchain is only a ledger, a database. That's true. We got Casio and Casanova going at it here. Now, not going at it with each other, but they're dominating the beginning part of this. Yep, after having debates and arguments with many people, they say they care about crypto, but it always comes down to measurements in fiat value. Yeah, I accept crypto in my business. And a lot of people realize that, there's an opportunity there to accept crypto, but only because there are people that are willing to pay in it. So as a business owner, I want to get more people in. And so I'll open up that avenue. But as soon as I get that crypto, I got to turn it into fiat. Have to. Joaquim Gonsalves. Hey, Ernie, you already see the Enigma project? Yes, I have. See, this is what I'm talking about. Everyone wants to show me a new project or another project that they think solves all the problems. But it doesn't. Many are short-sighted and egotistic. I'm talking from this is Casio saying. This is no improvement to humankind in general and doesn't bring peace, harmony, and freedom, but the opposite, especially in an age of deception and no accountability. Well, that's the other thing, no accountability and deception. To think that everything is going to be tokenized. The problem is that interface between the real world and the token world. That is still a human boundary there that can be corrupted and will be corrupted. And once it's corrupted and then put onto the blockchain, it cannot be changed. So it will be corrupted forever. Richard Burton, Bitcoin is the only reality of a blockchain. None of the alts make sense. Well, I think cryptocurrency is one of the better use cases of blockchain. But I don't even think that blockchain is the best distributed ledger. And Bitcoin isn't the best cryptocurrency. The only thing it has going for it is its very large network. And people basically judge the power of that network through its size. And that size, its growth has really essentially stopped. And once it starts contracting, it'll contract fast. I wanted Casano A, and Google would not allow it, so it's Casanoa. I like the way it sounds, though, Casanoa. Yes, I agree, Casanoa. Those cryptos are not assets like stocks. Ernie, I think XRP could gain a real footing because government might actually be interested in it as a settlement token integrated into the SWIFT system. Well, the government has nothing to say about it, quite frankly. Now, if SWIFT is talking about XRP, why would they do that? They can create their own token. SWIFT already has a monopoly of interbank international transfers. Why would they even care about XRP? I know a lot of people are getting excited because XRP wants to morph into the next use case because it keeps on failing at its original. But XRP and SWIFT is not the answer. SWIFT doesn't give a shit about XRP. They can create their own. Richard Burton says, cannabis is more relevant to the future of the human race than Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, it is so obvious. It is so obvious. Especially when you consider how it became demonized by titans of industry that were threatened by it. Daniel Malfiare. Oh, yes. This was the bad iron guy. Gold is $1 trillion market. Jewelry and electronic appliances are responsible for a very small part of that market. Isn't fair to assume that Bitcoin can take part of that market for itself? Yeah, of course. I mean, anything can take part of that market, but what's fair got to do with it? You know, fair has absolutely nothing to do with it. Are you saying that, is it plausible? Yeah, it's plausible. But, you know, it's got to provide some real value in order to stay there. Gold is, you know, has two vectors in it. It has a monetary vector and it has an industrial vector. Admittedly, the industrial, which also jewelry would be part of that, is relatively small compared to the monetary vector. But gold is real. Gold is real. Why doesn't the government simply start up a Mary Jane lab and explore the medical for themselves? They already have. They did it in the 70s, in fact. They even patented some of its uses and found in their own experiments that it had cancer-killing properties. The government knew this. In fact, they financed a study to try to demonize it even further by showing that, you know, smoking it could be harmful to your lungs and your brain and all this other stuff. And when they found out that it was exactly the opposite, they squashed all that research and deleted it and pulled all the funding. That's our government. Well, that's actually not our government. That's the evil people that occupy our great government. So, Richard, agree that crypto will mob down. Hope it does. Mob down. What could that be? Mob. Looking on the keyboard on keys that he might have missed. Or move, maybe move down? Yeah, because the B's next to the V. It could be move down. Casanova or Casano A. I like Casanova. Casanova sounds way better. I'm sorry. XRP has no aspiration to become money. It's happy to be a donkey to carry fiat from place to place. I get that. But it's not going to take over SWIFT. It's not going to sidestep SWIFT. SWIFT already has control of 12,000 of the 13,000 banks out there. It is the de facto standard. Now, admittedly, SWIFT, the protocol itself, is 50 years old, 50 plus years old, and extremely slow, but they are not standing still. They are exploring tokenized approaches to this problem. And they're not going to go to XRP. There's no need. Bo says, been with you since last year before the channel theft. I remember your thoughts on the Bitcoin scam that you saw it to be. I know you just don't spout bullshit. Everything is thought through. Well, thank you very much for that, Bo. But that's what it will appear to a lot of people that will come onto this network, and they'll see that I'm, downing on Bitcoin, or they'll call me grandpa. They'll try to, marginalize me because they think I'm out of touch or whatever. They'll say things like, well, you need to really understand the technology, without really understanding my background, that I've forgotten more technology than they'll ever know. They'll think that I'm culturally inept, even though they don't know that I have millennial children and I understand them and I work with them and I live with them. I have great relationships with them, by the way. So they'll want to demonize. Well, that's a human thing. You want to demonize somebody without really understanding that person. Hey, Trojan Hell. Ernie, what do you think about Fidelity News for crypto impact? Let's see who this is. Hold on. Hello. Hello. Goodbye. I get a lot of those calls. Ernie, what do you think about Fidelity News for crypto impact? Well, Fidelity started their own Bitcoin mining operation. I'm sure that that is failing them. So now they need to, before interest is completely lost, they need to try to recoup some of that money. And so they're going to start a service. And so essentially what they're going to do, what they're saying they're going to do, is something very, very similar to what my idea was with Junto Coin. And that is to manage all these kind of investments and things in the background. And then you would buy into or buy a share into that service. Yeah, sounds great. So they'll collect millions and millions of dollars, people coming in saying, okay, yeah, that'll take a lot of the headache off of our shoulder and just let you, Fidelity, handle all this crypto stuff that I have no idea about. That's what I think about it. I think that they're just looking at it as a way to grab a bunch of money. Not doubting your 40 years of experience at all. I wasn't saying you were, Bo, but that is generally what a lot of the people that come onto this channel that have no knowledge of me. As a matter of fact, I even had one person that said that he thought I was a fraud because he went to my LinkedIn and it only showed that I had experience back to 2000. Well, that's because if I tried to put all the experience in there, my resume would be like 10 pages long. He says, you're trying to hide something. You're not transparent. Ernie, you're a very bold person. Boldness example this live YouTube headline. Boldness example this live YouTube. Very good heading. In the world, the one and only you can create such kind of video. I really appreciate you. Well, thank you very much. Obviously, English isn't your first language, but we won't hold that against you. I understood exactly what you're saying. Allie, what do you think about decentralized storage? Like Saya coin. Of course, there is a coin for that. Well, decentralized storage, a lot like, cloud computing. I mean, I am involved in decentralized storage. Of course, that is not like the ultimate version or idea of decentralized storage. And we've had projects like that, decentralized computing, decentralized storage. It's one of the few possible use cases that might work if you get enough people, if the performance is okay. So, but it's a solution. Is it a better solution than the solutions that already exist? I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know. But is that where we're hanging everything on crypto now for a decentralized storage solution? I tell everybody that gets into trading that they have to have offline storage, period. The Apple Cloud or iCloud was a brilliant idea, and it's a really great implementation. To be able to have all my content or most of my content up in the ethos. It's all great, and it's worked out very well for me. So I can only imagine that, trying to expand that, and maybe there is something else that crypto or blockchain or a DAG is going to somehow enhance that capability, I guess. Some people say that cloud technology is running up into limits, into scalability limits. I'm not sure why they say that. But I'll take their word for it. I'll investigate it and see what the real scalability limits are. That somehow this decentralized blockchain technology will be able to go beyond what cloud is capable. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think that that's just a talking point that they're trying to keep the whole story alive. Rich token. Ernie, Bitcoin is going to change the world. Free the enslaved. Stop. Economic breakdown and financial crisis. Then the alarm sounds, and we realize it was a dream. Yeah. Ernie, be careful. You may be threatened by whales for creating such of a kind of video. I'm telling this is a kind of well-wisher. Yeah, I've already come across that, and somebody deleted a very popular channel that I had. Basically, also destroyed my business. Yet I'm coming back. I'm coming back with a vengeance. I don't care what they say. They cannot stop me. I think I've protected myself now so that they can't at least come at me in the same way that they did before. If they do, then I'll have a big case against AT&T. I already got to settle, I got a settlement from them, but we'll see. Rich Token, I've woken up. Good to hear. What do you think is the best cryptocurrency? That's a hard question because the best, I think I can envision many different types of currencies for many different situations. Hence the need for a decentralized governance model on top of a cryptocurrency, which doesn't exist right now. There are some that will require autonomy, some that don't, some that require transactionality, transaction speed, some that require long-lived transactions. So I can envision many different types of currency needs. So it's hard to say what is the best. What is the best for retail may not be the best for Internet of Things. Ernie, Swift can create their own, but why reinvent the wheel? Because creating a cryptocurrency isn't that hard. First of all, there's lots of public domain work out there that you could snatch up and then just create your own. They could be considering using it as part of their program. No. Why? Why go out and buy them? They're way overpriced. Way overpriced. Did a video on that too that received much acclaim. It would actually save them money and time. No, because they've already been involved in crypto right from the beginning. They've already gone through proof of concepts. They already understand what it's all about. They've already hired their own experts. Maybe it's possible that they could decide that at this point it's better to buy than build. But they've already amassed a great deal of experience around it. Swift hasn't been just sitting around doing nothing. Rich Token, have you heard of or tried THCA? So THC, which is the psychoactive ingredient of marijuana, A is the form or the acidic form that it exists in the raw plant, which, by the way, if you ate it, doesn't actually have any psychoactive nature to it. It needs to be what's called decarboxylized, where it removes the A, so then it has that psychoactive component. And there are a number of different ways you can do that chemically or with heat in other ways. That's why people smoke it. You smoke it, it releases the A, you get the psychoactive ingredient, and then it's able to attach to your cannabinoid system, cannabinoid receptors, and make you high. So yeah, I've heard of it. Very well versed in all of that. And how did that RSO turn out from the show last week? Not bad. I think I could have burned off more of the alcohol, and so that was a problem. So we just did another batch where we burned off the alcohol completely, and I think that came out better. I'm going to set up a little lab here. I need a reverse pressure booth to evacuate the alcohol out of it. There's no chance of it starting a fire. So I need to create a little booth and get myself a hot plate with a magnetic stirrer in it, and all the other stuff that I need, and then get a little bit more scientific with this. Crypto is just a program, but good programs can be valuable as part of an overall system. And not sure what you're getting at there. You can say that about anything. Cyber Crypto Night, aka Deep State. Am I missing something else that you said up here? No, that was your first comment, Cyber. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. Trojan Hill, government will never support anything they can harm the pharmaceutical companies. Will never support anything that can harm the pharmaceutical companies. They want to keep you sick because it's profitable. I would agree with that. Now, the interesting thing is that the DEA has marijuana as a level 1 substance, saying that it has absolutely no medicinal value, which is a complete lie. And even the government knows that it's a lie. And they've recently removed that language, which would then, and it should, invalidate it as a level 1 substance that should move down the chain. The pharmaceutical companies don't like it because they can't monetize it. It's too easy for somebody to create their own Rick Simpson oil without the need for any kind of pharmaceutical company. There's no way for them to pull the wool over our eyes to say that only they can then produce a form that we need. It has also been shown that synthesized versions of THC are not that effective, because what we're realizing is that there are a number of chemical compounds within THC, different types of cannabinoids, including CBD and terpenes and others, that all combine together to produce a multifarious effect, and for different types of diseases, things that the pharmaceutical companies simply cannot replicate. So from their point of view, there's really no money to be made. Most of the stuff can be done over the counter. All they got to do is just make the damn plant legal. I mean, how can you not make it legal? It's a weed. It grows everywhere. We need like a Johnny Appleseed that will just run through the country throwing seeds, marijuana seeds all over the place, and then just sprout it up everywhere so that there's absolutely no stopping. Here in the Netherlands, the private and national banks cooperated and created Ideal. Google it. It's a free use for clients. Business owners pay a small fee. Payments are instant. That's interesting. You know, and I know that, for instance, in China, they also have a similar thing where everything's done through QR codes. And you can pay for things, you can transfer cash, blah, blah, blah. No need for crypto. CB, how you doing? I heard that people are starting to use crypto in the third world countries where banks are not accessible. Now, that might be one place where there is a use case, a valid use case. And Misigo was one of the very first that tried to attack that problem. I don't know what happened to them. They were one of the originals providing banking services for the unbanked or the people that have no access to banks. Interesting. They have no access to banks. They're a smartphone basically takes up 1 or 2 months of their income, yet they have smartphones and they're able to afford the phone bill, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the whole family chips in on the smartphone. I don't know. But for some reason now they have smartphones, even though they can't afford to put food on their table. And they need crypto in order to have banking services. See, I can see it if they want to be industrious and entrepreneurial and start a business, and they need that kind of access to a bank so that they can transact money. Cryptocurrencies cannot compete in the field regarding fees, speed, rollbacks, and on, for example, theft. Yeah, rollbacks, that's a big thing. Not take over Swift. Swift takes over XRP and uses it for the... No, I understand that. I understand. I said that Swift has no real reason to take over XRP. Bo asks, Ernie, the AI setups for trading, what markets are the trades in equities, futures, crypto, or Forex? The answer is yes to all of those. Not so much crypto. We're not finding, it's very difficult to do it in crypto because of the unregulated nature of the exchanges and the differences in pricing across exchanges. It's hard to pick like one exchange that's what we want to focus on. But yeah, the artificial intelligence setups, the embodiment, that's what I call it. That's my pet name for it. Currently, we're just putting out futures and Forex trades, and it's going fantastic. About an 85% win rate, huge return on capital, $99 a month. Buy the training, held every Saturday, and along with your subscription, you'll get it at half price. Cassio says, like Ernie said, cryptocurrencies are a solution looking for a problem. And even the existing banking infrastructure here is a solution to the problem called cryptocurrencies. It's a telemarketer, Ernie. Okay, I have to, connect all the things that people are saying because without the context. All right. I'm trying to go through all these comments, but they're coming on fast and furious, so it's a little bit difficult. Daniel, bad iron. That's Mal Ferrari. Bad iron. What is bad iron? I guess my question is, won't people start moving from gold to Bitcoin? Why? People have to have a reason to move to something. That's got to be better, easier, faster, more profitable. Give them that sense that they actually have value. And that feeling or that thing, that marketing spread is not spreading. It's not, that world or universe of people is not expanding. It's contracting right now. So yeah, I don't see any particular advantage. Stav asks, do you think the market is starting to go up or just a false rally? Yeah, I don't know. I hope it is. I think we've seen pretty much the bottom. I believe so. Let's see here. Take a look at the E-mini futures. So we have a nice little run now. We're moving up. We need to break out we're right near a breakout point. Very, very close to a breakout. We'll see. We're entering into a low volume node, or what I call a low volume well. And if the S&P can make it up another, say, 10, 15 points, it'll move up very quickly. So it's very possible that the market is moving up here and recovering. Wahim, still bullish in Hashgraph. Yeah, I like their governance model the best, but I haven't heard a lot from them, and I'm trying to keep in touch with the guys there. And things are going a little slow. I think they're finding a little resistance from enterprise out there. A lot of enterprises are starting to realize what I realized a long time ago, that, hey, this stuff is hard, and we're not so sure we're going to get a return on our investment. We don't understand how we're going to modify our business model to accommodate it. That's what they're saying. Where are we going to get the resources? How are we going to change the culture within our company to accept this new paradigm? Blah, blah, blah. All of this costs money and time and expense. And will they get any return from it? They don't even know. It's not tacit. It's not like saying, oh, of course we're going to get a return. It's, you don't even have to think about it. That's not the case at all, although that's the way a lot of people would want you to believe. Trojan says, I have high respect for your channel. This was one of the first channels that I landed on before deciding to enter crypto. And I respect your approach and endless wisdom and knowledge for us traders. I would not say that I have endless, thank you very much for the sentiment, but endless wisdom and knowledge. Let me tell you, here's a bit of wisdom. The more years that I put under my belt, the more things I learn, the more things that I get into, the more I realize how little I actually know. Really, that's the truth. The other thing is that there's always somebody out there with something that, or some bit of knowledge or skill that far exceeds anything that I could possibly imagine. And the hard thing in life is to trying to connect with those people and find those people, because they exist. There's always somebody with new stuff, better ideas, better insight. All you can really do is that you can follow a path. Follow a path of what you think is right. And this is one of the reasons why I follow Buddhism, the basic tenets of Buddhism, particularly Zen Buddhism, not this Tibetan bullshit Buddhism where you believe in reincarnation and all this other kind of ethereal stuff. The Buddhism that the original Buddha talked about, the Four Noble Truths, that everything that is a problem in our lives are things that we attach ourselves to and that we become engrossed in and myopic and blot out everything else that might provide a more objective view. That's what makes us suffer. And what we need to do is we need to find ways to get around that and outside of that and think objectively, think rationally. And that's what is what's called the Eightfold Path. That's the path where I know it sounds kind of weird, but it's not. It's very logical and reasoned. The Eightfold Path is all about thinking right, speaking right, doing the right thing, having the right mindset, meditating on what you're doing, having some introspection, trying to constantly improve yourself. That's actually what Buddhism is about, and it's about setting yourself on that path. That path hopefully will lead you towards a more enlightened existence. Some people become so enlightened that they are, in fact, what we might term Buddhas. Anybody can be a Buddha. Any woman, man, child can become a Buddha. It all comes down to your ability to embrace what's ahead of you. CB, are you still bullish on stocks, or do you think bonds are a better investment since rates are going up? Well, I'll tell you, this whole rate tightening process, I think, is something that we've seen before, over and over and over again. Before every recession, it happens. They flatten or invert the yield curve, tighten rates because they think things are heating up too much, because as humans, we think that we can control everything, that we can do better than what could be naturally done through natural forces, market forces. We all want to make those squiggly lines and make them straight. And it usually turns out not so good. Or sometimes it turns out good and we don't know why, and think that we can repeat it, and then it doesn't turn out so good and we're wondering, well, what the? Price explosion for Tilray, TLRY, which is a crypto stock. And yeah, that's probably true for most Canadian cannabis stocks. That's because tomorrow, and I've said this before, I said that price, and go back, look at my videos, I've said that price will start moving up strongly right into the legalization date, October 17th, for Canada. Now, Canada, what is their place in the world? What kind of influence do they really have in the world of cannabis, other than the fact that they were one of the first countries to embrace it from a medicinal point of view, and now from a recreational point of view, even though it has severe restrictions? That has given them some, but I'll tell you, once the U.S. gets its act together and more states, and there are more states that are coming online. I mean, they are already. I mean, you look at the industry, the cannabis industry in any of our states is already bigger than Canada. But anyways, the whole idea is that stock prices in cannabis stocks are going to continue to move up on this sort of rumor. And then once that day comes, tomorrow, I expect stocks to retreat. We'll see what happens. Best crypto is USDT. Doesn't even do anything. Mike Humphreys, how you doing? Is the stock market today going to influence the crypto market? No, there's no correlation. I keep on saying that, but people seem to forget. There is no correlation. End of story. Ali, Sidecoin really works, and 0.36 per terabyte in a month and only 0.05 for 1 terabyte traffic right now. Oh, okay. So this is a offline storage. Well, that is cheap. I mean, I pay $2 a month in my Apple service for a terabyte. So that is about 5 times cheaper. But I trust Apple, and it works with everything that I do. So, and $2 is nothing to me. The difference between $2 and 36 cents wouldn't mean anything. So I don't know that there's a real advantage there for me going that way. Maybe for people that are just getting into it, sure. Casio, Trader of Futures, I'm using two-factor authentication, 2FA, on anything as an extra security measure of if it's available. Yeah, and so am I. So am I. But two-factor authentication will not stop human intervention, will not stop human hacking. And that's how I got hacked, outside of the system. Human hacking is what got me. There's always an interface. You can have all the security you want, but eventually it comes down to people. And if they don't follow the rules, you become a victim. USDT is closest to real-life fiat tender, yeah, or whatever. Sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, Richard Token, but yeah, backed by not sure what. See, now you're coming back to reality. There's a little bit of Buddhist wisdom, not being attached to a particular idea. Backed by a company that can declare bankruptcy, rendering that entire shitcoin worthless. At least fiat is backed by nukes and force. Yeah, it is true. The might and strength of the United States government. I'm not touching any stable coins. See, they call it stable coin as if that's what it is, right? You know, it's like an oxymoron. It's like saying good government, or, you know, when the Democrats come up with like a new program, they'll call it the Freedom Act or the Wealth and Prosperity Act. You know, when they create something like that, you know that it's a big scam. You hear someone call the thing that's supposed to substitute the dollar, they call it stable coin. So it's supposed to instill in you this comfort that it's stable, that it's worth it. What makes you think that the Fed didn't invent all the cryptos and tested them in the field to see which one would work best? Well, first of all, the Fed doesn't have that kind of budget, and I don't see any reason why they would do it, to tell you the truth. There's no particular advantage for the Fed to have crypto, really. None at all. I've got dinner now. I will rewatch the last part. Thank you so much, Ernie, for the great show. This was really enjoyable and an interesting conversation with the group here. Ciao. Let's see, how many more? Might as well start your own meth lab. Nah, I got this back here. 2 rooms. Ernie, I hear seaweed can help with cancer. Is there any merit in your opinion? I've heard similar things. There's lots of different compounds and herbs and foods and things, particularly from the sea, that can help us in many different ways. In fact, we include sardines in a seaweed extract and vitamin E in the dog's food as kind of helping them on with the immunological stuff. So yeah, it makes sense to me. You should rent a plane and spread the Mary Jane all over America. That would be so cool. Hey, Ernie, any AI calls on stocks today? No, we looked and there were no stock calls today. And no stock calls yesterday either. But there were futures calls. There were 7 of them. There were 5 futures calls and 2 Forex calls. Nick Painter. Can go to regulations, government, then ID, FDA, some number, and comment in favor of cannabis schedule change. Oh, interesting. That's good information. Thanks, Nick. ASD. Crypto is the best performing asset class in the last 5 years. If you don't agree, then you don't agree with facts. You, my friend, are suffering. You need Buddhism. They're the best performing asset class. Give me a break. First of all, they weren't meant to be an asset class. To say that they're the best performing, because a few people have overhyped it. They've, simultaneously have been the best and the worst performing, by the way. Giving names you can trust is the first sign of you're getting screwed. Giving names. High voltage, chip. Don't understand that. But would the Fed love to go cashless? What better than completely digital? Well, whatever the Fed wants to do is immaterial. It's really what the people want to do, ultimately. And if the people don't want to go cashless, we won't go cashless. We'll always have something to hang on to. Maybe even go back to a barter system. All I says that crypto was created by rogue groups within the CIA or U.S. government or high-up connected individuals, aka Peter Thiel, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, we had to add that conspiracy. How is it not, Ernie? Come on, don't disagree or disregard. No, I'm just, I'm saying that it's a conspiracy theory. I use Occam's razor. It's what is the most likely thing, why it came to be. Yale and Fidelity invested in a scam. Sure, absolutely. You don't think that they're fallible? Please. I've worked for both of them. Worked for Fidelity for several years. Ice and backed. Yes. I didn't say they're scams. And they are scamming people. They're taking advantage of people right now the best that they can. So yes. Cedric, that is my opinion. That they are either scamming or they are naive. And yes, big companies can be naive. Or just plain wrong. Won't be the first time. Turn that off for now. I don't want to go cashless either, but if the government takes away the paper, what do? We barter. It's as simple as that. That's what I would do. I would find any way to pay somebody else something, if I could figure out, I can pay people in gold right now. I can use gold.com and I can pay people in gold, or I can take payment in gold. How did the human hacker get your phone number, and how did he or she know that you have an AT&T account? That's, first of all, that's easy information to get. The hard part is going to the AT&T and then convince them that they are me, which they did, which AT&T won't tell me because of the agreement of our decree, our settlement. The Fed is a joke, U.S. only. The world is bigger than the U.S. scam. All right, there's another person that doesn't believe that the U.S. is superior in every way to the rest of the world. Sorry, but that is a fact. And I know that you don't want me to end on something like that, such arrogance, but it's the truth. I've been very fortunate to have been born in this country and grown up here. But there's a reason why the U.S. is the best, and that is because of the vision of our founding fathers that still holds today, even though it's trying to be corrupted in every possible way by nefarious people. We are still the most superior society that has ever existed on the face of the planet. That is the truth. Do we have problems? Absolutely. Can we improve? Absolutely. That's not true at all. The point is, the world is bigger than the U.S., and if they regulate wrong, they will get left behind. This is not true. Everybody follows the U.S., period. Like lemmings. You don't understand. There is, not even China, the second biggest economy, has a chance against us. Sorry, you're just wrong. It's just flat out wrong. AT&T should use Google Authenticator for its customers. That wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter at all. I'm telling you, it all comes down to human interaction eventually. All you have to do is find out where that spot is and then slip in. All right, all eyes. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much. We are too far along in this talk, way too far along. I want to thank everybody. Please hit the like button down below and share this video out there. I really appreciate it. And those that want to find out more about the AI calls, improve your trading dramatically. Go to my website, sign up. You can cancel anytime you want. It's month by month, so it's not like you're going to lose out on a lot. But I can tell you this, just about any one of the calls that we make multiple times a week will pay for an entire year of the service. So got to plug that. It's fantastic. It's going to get big. No doubt about it. A lot of work went into it over many years. And it works. And I've proven it. All right. And I'm going to prove it some more, especially when we start going on these equity calls. Right now it's futures and Forex. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Really appreciate everybody showing up here, hanging out with me. And we'll see you next video. Oh, by the way, I'm on Twitch today at 1 p.m. That's Twitch TV. You'll see the link down below, I believe. Is the link down below? Yeah, it is. The link is down below. See y'all. Have a good one.